Come on boy, time to inspect the troops. I think today we're going to do a inspection on the Calypso. Jared, show me where Calypso is, your number one snake. Now then. Hello, little Calypso. You're looking very beautiful today. Let me just inspect your bedding. Bedding is first class. Let me check your clothing. Yes, all looking very neat and smart. Polished shoes. Everything's looking very good in there. Right then, I think we'll bring you out for an full inspection. Beautiful snake. What?
Love the transition.
When I touch snakes, my sergeant major goes out the window because they soften my heart. Even me as a sergeant major, these snakes are good at softening people's hearts. And look at this beautiful snake. Jared's number one snake. Would you agree?
She's beautiful.
How could we not show you a snake on this channel? You know, we're talking a load of jokes and waffle and clowning about, but I thought, well, since I'm clowning about, why don't we bring out our number one clown? Is that a good idea?
Great idea. Number two clown. Number one is...
Oh, we have a lot of banter, don't we, Jared? Isn't she lovely? Look at that flicking of her tongue. She's gorgeous. Really beautiful. She hasn't bit us yet, has she?
No.
Have you ever been bitten?
No, she's really nice.
This is always the first time.
I haven't been bitten by her. Been bitten by other ones.
But we are going to do an inspection. It's not going to be a sergeant major inspection, but we will do a proper inspection, Jared. So what we should do is we should you need to get a bigger rub, Jared, because they're getting so big now. The hatchlings are fine, but we shouldn't be putting adults in there.
I use this.
She's getting freaked out a bit. What have you got to... Okay. Oh, you got a zero of that again. Okay, let's give that a look. So guess the weight, Jared.
1,020.
1,020. And how big was she when you got her?
120.
120. So you think she's put on 900?
Maybe a bit more than that.
900 grams in how long?
It's been about a year.
Okay, let's just put her in. Oops, she wants to come out and play. Come on, darling. Stay in there, darling.
Well,
is she bigger than you thought?
Yeah, I didn't know she'd be 12.52.
She's eating like a trooper. I told you she's taking like small rats at the moment, Jared. And as soon as they get onto small rats, something that started off at like 800 about a couple of weeks ago, she's put on 400 grams in about... How many weeks? I think she's put on 400 grams in 2 months. That's 200 a month. That's really good, because I expect...
smashing her food.
I just love 100. She's never been a problem feeder, has she? She's always smashed food.
Yeah, well, she started off as a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
Took me a while to get her onto her fluffs.
Yeah, and let's take it down to the next part of the channel, because we are talking about breeding cycles. And this is inspired by JV Royal Hyphens, him and his partner. They asked us to do an in-depth explanation of the breeding calendar, starting from when we start. But what I thought I'd do is, and hopefully Rob, you're happy for me to do this. I've got up here, Jared, you better sit here, and I'm going to be over here. I need my sergeant major stuff.
Will it be easier without the snake?
I think if I put her around my neck, she'll be fine. Let me just see if she'll go around my neck. She's not used to being on me. She's more your snake, really, isn't she, Jared? So let's see if I can get her to... Right, is she okay?
Mm-hmm.
So...
We might have to turn the lights off.
Turn the lights off. Right. Welcome to Ball Python University. We're here with Rob Barraclough, who is Professor Barraclough. And you'll notice that Professor Barraclough has instructed me to explain and reinforce some of the principles that he's been teaching us for the last couple of years as we get ready for our final exams. So Jared, first of all, could you explain to me, this is, what's this here? So we've got November, so Rob starts in November, and he's based in Malaysia.
Yep.
Now we could change that to September. We started in September because we had the right conditions in the UK. So we're going to be a little bit earlier than that. Some of you may have started in October, November, so this could be totally relevant, but all I would say is, if you want to take this template, just put your start date here, when you started pairing. But this is very typical of most places in the UK, they do this. But like I say, be flexible, and Rob suggests use this as a flexible method. Now, he's got a monsoon period in Malaysia from November all the way through to March. He calls that the rainy season. Now, if you live in the UK, we would extend that arrow from November all the way through to December. Which means, in theory, the UK should be an all year round breeding opportunity. So, no excuses for starting anytime you like. Hello. Hello, Calypso.
She's your pointer.
Oh, she's my pointer. Why do I need this? Yeah. So, what do you think, Calypso? Would you agree with Rob? Do you think that November is a good time to start you next year? She's looking forward to it. She says she's going to be ready. So Calypso's decided to start her breeding cycle in November and follow Professor Rob's advice. So she's probably a very good pupil, and I think Rob will enjoy this. So let's move on to the next stage, which is temps. Now in Malaysia they have 28 degrees Celsius without having to provide any heat. I believe that's just a natural temp. It's very warm and humid in Malaysia, if anyone's been there. Good fishing, Rob, out there. So if we come and see you and visit you, we'd like to bring the fishing rods, if that's okay with you, and come and see your facility when everything's safe, of course, once all the lockdown is down. And so we'll come over, but at the moment, obviously the UK won't have this. You've got to create those temps in your facility. Now, Jan, what do we do here as far as New Forest Morphs?
We have an ambient temperature in the room.
Yep. And our ambient temperature is 80 degrees Fahrenheit, which converts close to Rob's model, I think. I have to do a conversion on that one, but it probably isn't too far away.
Yeah.
So.
And then we have their hotspots at 89, 90.
Yeah, I don't think Rob uses heat mats though.
No, he doesn't.
Although he did actually, I watched one of his videos, he did experiment and use heat mats, and I think on a couple of snakes. I can't remember, it may not be ball pythons, but anyway, have a look at his channel to find out what's going on there. But the temps, you can see the temps here. His starts to go up at 30 to 31. And now the question I'd like to ask is, why would the breeding season align itself with the lower temperatures in Malaysia? I'll give you a clue. When Jess was pregnant and Eli was born, he was born, this is Jared's wife and son. Eli was born in April, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And so Jess fell pregnant 9 months earlier. When did she fall pregnant?
September.
September. So we could use Eli as a good example of the ideal time to have a child. So from a woman's perspective, August. So from a woman's perspective, you're planning to fall pregnant. If you want to be comfortable during the pregnancy, the ideal time is to have a spring baby. So you get pregnant in August. So that would be, if I was doing family planning. How are we getting onto family planning here? This is
yeah.
But what I was saying is that for us, I always like to relate us to the snakes because there's a lot of synergy there. I'm probably using the wrong word, synergy, actually. A lot of similarities. Synergy is another one of my dyslexic things. I'll say synergy. 2 + 2 = 5 with synergy, whereas similarities is what I really mean. So, if we look at the temps over here, we've got to simulate the right temps in the UK because we're not going to get an ambient temperature like Malaysia. So you've got to create a facility, or your room has to be around about, I think 80 degrees is what we recommend. And then pairings. Now Rob starts pairing at the beginning of November here. Can you see that? Mm-hmm. That's his pairing. And he stops pairing in May. So he's not an all year round breeder. He likes to follow the season, and you can see why. It's because if you're pairing up here, it's covering the cooler period. And I think follicles build better. Follicles are the small eggs, and we're going to come on to that. They build better during cooler climates, so you have to adjust a little bit. So that leads us on to the follicles. Now in November, what size are the follicles? These small little marbles, smaller than marbles, they start in the female. She might be building, Calypso could be building follicles already, even though she's 1250. She might have the beginning, because she was bowl wrapping the other day, even though she's not been to a male. So, what are your thoughts? Ow. Sorry about this. She's not biting me, is she, Joe?
No.
No. So I think she's just playing with my beard. It's my beard that's spiking me as she's moving my beard prickles. I'm getting pricked by my own beard here.
It's a tail.
She must think I'm a real prick. But what I'm thinking is that follicles, 10mm, yeah? And let's have a look at the follicle growth. So if we say 10mm here, at the beginning of the period. And then what Rob is saying is that when you get to this stage, about February, you're hoping that the follicle growth, the egg growth, moves up towards 25 mil. And he's put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 key stages for the female, like he calls those female milestones. These are the milestones here, and he's emphasized them. So those milestones are November, when your females are showing 10 millimeters of follicle growth, that's the time to start your breeding process. Okay? The next milestone is February, when the follicles are at 25 mil. That's when the females start to go off food. So if anyone's experiencing any girls that are starting to go off food, it's probably because their follicles are about 25 mil, which is a key stage. And then there's certain processes of helping them cool. So they cool their follicles to get them to grow, and it's called bowl wrapping. And Jared, you were going to show, why don't we just switch the lights on a second and show one of your girls that's bowl wrapping. Should we go and do that?
Mm-hmm. Hopefully she's still doing it. She's gone off food.
Right.
This is my cinnamon girl toast. And there's an example of a bowl wrap. Just cooling down, growing those follicles, and hopefully we'll have a ovulation and pre-lay shed from her soon.
How can we assist her with the cooling, Jared? What can we do to help her?
I don't know.
Well, my top tip is you could buy a really big bowl with a diving board, like Rich. Leave it there a second, Jared, because I'm still going to use this. But what I would say is, if you just point to the snake for a second, that she's wrapping around the bowl, and the follicles, Jared, where do the follicles? Where does she show her follicles? Where
Probably
are they?
starts just above halfway down, about here.
Yeah, I think Rob said it might even be lower than that, but yeah, say halfway down. So the eggs are all growing at the back end of her. So she'll wrap and cool around here, and that will help her follicles grow. So when you're checking for water temps, regularly change the water, I believe, so it's not too warm. Keep it cool, because obviously if it goes too warm, you've got to regulate that water temperature. So regular water changes, I think, might be a good move. I'll get anyone else's views on that, but keep the water pretty cool and fresh. But that's good husbandry anyway. Regular water changes is good husbandry. So if you're good on your husbandry, you'll get blessed with good follicle growth, because you'll be replacing water regularly. Anyone that's a slacker, as Billy would say, he's a slacker. He doesn't change his water regularly, or her doesn't change her water regularly, then you'll ask yourself the question, why am I getting lots of lots of duff eggs? Because your husbandry may not be up to it, and therefore, God dear, she really wants to take my glasses off, this girl. Oh wow, she really is having fun. Okay. She prefers me without glasses. I think she thinks I'm a male ready to hook up to it. She's loving me, Chad. Really loving me.
She's trying to get off you. Put me back in my
Anyway,
car.
let's go back to Rob's diagram. We'll come back to that in a second. So, do you think that she's had enough time outside? Should we put her back?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. If a snake starts to get a little bit fractious, it might be that she's had her playtime and she's ready to go home. So we must respect her. Just put everything down. Give her some love and attention, because I don't think I'm giving her enough love and attention. She wants a little bit of. I think she's ready to go back. But it's important to spend time with the animals if you want a nice docile animal. If you just leave them in the rubs, then you know, to me, enjoy what you're doing. Enjoy these snakes. Very important. And they will perform for you. They will do really better. If you bond with them, they'll do things for you because they love you, because you're giving them love and attention. It's like anything in life, isn't it? The more love we give, the more love that seems to come back. Like a boomerang theory.
So, I'm not sure how much love snakes have, but I think that they get used to you holding them.
Well, if you've just seen Titus and Colossus the other day, they've got more love than most people, I tell you. They were really going for it. So, anyway.
Do you need your glasses, Professor?
Professor. How much time have you got? Because there's a bit more.
15 minutes.
Oh, 15 minutes, that's good.
So, I mean, 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Oh yeah, we'll get through this really quickly. But anyway, so back to Professor Rob, his diagram. So where were we? We got to February 25 mils. That's stage 2 here. There's things you've got to do here, and we're going to, in our video series, and go and look at Rob's channel. He'll give you a breakdown of what needs to be done at not breakdown, he'll give you suggestions, and he's building with his community. Everyone's different, by the way, so this is just an indication of what you can do. You've got to adapt it to your circumstances, like I said earlier. So step 3, critical step 3, or milestone step 3, April, that is a very important milestone. So between the 25mm and the 45mm, look what goes on here. Can you see an ovulation fits there, Jad? So I'm guessing an ovulation, the process of ovulation will start at this point. And ovulation, Jad, do you know what ovulation means? Because a lot of people may not know what it means.
I'm pretty sure it's when the sperm and the egg meets.
Yeah, so with the female,
but I'm not certain on that. I think
all the sperm that's gone into the girl from November stored for potentially up to 6 months. So that sperm could be stored for 6 months. It can go longer than that. I think there's stories of snakes keeping sperm for over a year. So every time you get a lock, you should jump for joy, because even though the eggs won't suddenly get fertilized, unlike us, it's different. They've got different mechanisms for survival instincts. It's all part of their evolution. They learn to store sperm in case they can't get hold of a male later when they need it. Imagine if a girl just makes love once and then her eggs aren't up to size. If she can't get the sperm when she needs it, it's end of game, isn't it? So over millions of years of evolution, they've come up with this plan where they've learned to store the sperm so that they can keep their species going. It's very clever. And I think what's going on here is that they've got special chambers inside their bodies where they store the sperm. And that's why it's so important to keep locking, keep that sperm count up, because they're going to eventually release it. And the key moment of release is on ovulation. When the girl is ready, she'll decide when she wants to drop when those eggs want to be fertilized. She will not put that sperm into those eggs until she thinks they're ready. And that's why Rob's given us this diagram. So if you've got all these follicle growing and all this sperm that's being built up in the female, at that point there, can you imagine if you have 6 locks, the amount of sperm that's going to go into those eggs? She releases all that sperm, but she may not. She may hold on to it. What's a sensible girl will hold on to some of that? Why would she hold on to some of that?
I don't know.
Survival instinct. She might be thinking the next year, am I going to see a male next year? Does that make sense? So she may not release all the sperm, she may hold on to it. Survival instinct. So we have a situation where we get down to this point, which is, I'm guessing that the sperm is released at between 35 and 45mm, I'm guessing. I'm guessing that's a 35mm there, Rob. Maybe you can explain that to us a bit more, but let's say that they ovulate, and there's the ovulation period there. Now he's saying that the ovulation period can be anything from April all the way through to June.
It won't last 3 months, ovulation.
No, the ovulation doesn't take that last. But what I'm saying is the girls could ovulate any time. And I think the 45mm starts there. Yeah. So what you're saying is your 45mm stage could start in April and it could end in June. Unless you're an all year round breeder like Billy. He's getting all the time. But for the typical seasonal breeder, that's your window of opportunity to make sure that there's enough sperm in there for your girls. Keep locking. And then the ovulation period will be the same period, similar period to April, May, June. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where, how long, now let's just go through the timing. Now he said here we go, this is helpful, ovulation. So he says here, with ovulation, 2 weeks later, the girl will go into what they call a pre-lay shed, milestone number 4, pre-lay shed. So can you see how many days are there from ovulation to pre-lay shed?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. So now I'm going to introduce you to the it's called the 2-4-8 rule. So 2 weeks from ovulation to pre-lay shed, and then 4 weeks from pre-lay shed to the eggs being delivered in the rubs. That's the typical timing. So you've got 2, 4, and then when the eggs go into incubation, how many weeks?
Well, it's 55 to 60 days.
8 weeks. Just say 8 weeks.
8 weeks.
So 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 8 weeks. Now, Rob hasn't got it on here, but incubation period could be added to this diagram. Incubation period. And the incubation period would be 8 weeks or thereabouts. That varies. This is all just rough. This is all rough information here. It's like Every snake will differ, so don't take this as gospel. This is not going to apply to every snake in every environment. This is just a rough ballpark idea of the process of what's going on. The reality is you've got to interpret behaviour and try and work it out for yourself. That's the fun part of the hobby. If it was this easy and everything did this clockwork, it would be boring. The part of the hobby is for you to hone in your skills. Like me as a fisherman, I have a natural hunting instinct to catch fish. It's in all of us actually, because it goes back to our early development. Now we want to survive and catch fish for our table. So what you do is you learn to read the river. When you're fishing a river, you learn where the fish are likely to be and how to catch them. So you follow your instincts. It's the same with husbandry here and everything else. Follow your instincts. They're normally right, just as the snake will teach us. Follow the snake and let your instincts be in tune with the snake. It's almost like a soul-to-soul experience where you're actually so connected to your snakes, they're guiding you because you're listening to them and you're following them. But there's an art to this, and it takes time to interpret. Some of us are natural fishermen and we go straight in and we find the fish without any teaching or training. It's like the Maradonas or you look at the footballers, all the footballers, the Brazilian footballers that used to play football in the geckos. They
played in the geckos, did they? The ghetto.
Sorry, the ghetto. Sorry.
Reptiles on the mind.
I know, it's my dyslexia actually, but I'm funny without realising it. That's the problem. My funniest jokes are always the ones that I don't plan. But
it's true.
You know, not the geckos, the ghettos. But if you look at some of the top Brazilian football players, Jad, can you give me an example? Pele played in his backyard. Ronaldo. Georgie Best used to play with a squash ball against a wall. That's how skillful he was. And he used to keep me uppies with a squash ball. Now, a squash ball's that size. And then when he went onto the pitch and was found as a professional, he was so good because no one... this is the other thing I have to say, you mustn't over-school anybody on anything creative. You can over-school. And I don't want to be a teacher that over-schools, because natural flair, ingenuity, ideas and creativity come from within your soul, and everyone has their own take. So it's very important that we don't prescribe things to people all the time. We give them the general idea and let them find their own style. Does that make sense, Joe?
Mm-hmm.
So all the best footballers, the reason why they're top of their game is because no one hasn't over-schooled them. They haven't been over-schooled. They've been able to enjoy it. All my kids that play, I give you a classic example. My kids play the piano. Mandy is a pianist. She's our church organist and she's our choir director. And I, as a father, young father, was very inexperienced, and I said to Mandy, let's get formal lessons for my kids. And at the school they went to, they had all this really posh lady, what's her name? Lady Chamberlain was the teacher, lovely lady. And she installed lots of great skills. But where my kids have really learned is like Emily, she naturally jumps on the piano and she plays the most beautiful music because no one's badgering her to do a practice. She just wants to do it. It's the same with anything in life. If you want the best out of your kids, fan the flames of their development. Don't put them in a straitjacket. Is my advice as a father and grandfather. So, anyway, coming back to the snakes. Sorry, Jed. I'm teaching you.
Captain Tangent.
Captain Tangent. 4 weeks later, you've got all this stuff going on. I've got all these eggs. But anyway, we're so looking forward to this eggs. Thank you to Rob for giving us that diagram. It's made my life a lot easier. Did that help for you, Jared?
Yeah.
Or is that stuff that you know?
I did know it, but it was good to go over it again.
Yeah. So this is the stage we're all looking forward to here, here, here. But don't underestimate the fun that you can have here, because you are in partnership with the snakes as a keeper. You're in partnership with them. You're going to help them. And I like what someone said is create the conditions for your snakes to thrive and they'll amaze you. Jared keeps tropical fish, I keep tropical fish. I used to keep marine fish. Unfortunately I overdid it, I put too many fish in the tank. I bought this beautiful angel, I'm a scuba diver as well. So I fell in love with this giant angel, stuck it in the tank thinking, I actually broke the rules, and the guy in the shop said to me, this is a really big girl, she's going to poo a lot. But I thought my filtration system was so powerful that I reckon I could take her with all my other collection. Well, 3 months later I lost everything because of my desire to have something I wanted when I overdid it. And I feel really bad because I haven't actually set up a fish tank for a while as a result. I had a beautiful marine tank with all corals, everything. And I completely messed up on the husbandry because of my desire to be selfish and have something that I wanted in my tank. And Jared now has picked up my old tank and he's got the most gorgeous tank that he loves. and it's got me back into it. I might even how about if we put a tank in here? So we've got perfect temperatures for it.
Yeah.
I'd go for a super marine tank in here. Wouldn't that be lovely? Let me know, guys, if anyone else has tropical fish keepers, if you should put a tank in here as well, so we can actually add another bit of spice to our channel. So any questions on this, drop your comments in the boxes below. Keep those boxes coming. We've got 4 minutes to wrap up, so we'll go back to the table. I think we covered mostly everything that we wanted to, but just to let you know that we are going to go through this in detail. That's just a summary. So thank you to JV Royals. Thank you to Rob. Let's just finish off with... let's see if yeah, just to let you know that Rob's got a series called So You Want to Breed Ball Pythons Part 1 and 2. Go and have a look at that. I extracted that from, I think, Part 1 or Part 2, I can't remember. It's one of the parts. It's very, very good. And you'll learn a lot more from Rob than you will from me. And so I'm going to say that the shout out for the day on the YouTube channel is... Jared?
Royal Balls, Rob Barraclough.
So big thumbs up to Rob. Beautiful guy. Looking forward to meeting you, Rob, at some point. I'd love you to come on our channel and do a Zoom with us if you're willing to. But let us know what your thoughts are. I don't think there's anything else. Have I missed anything today? I can't believe that we're doing the second one within 25 minutes. It's really good, Jad. I was going to crack a joke about Big Ben, but I couldn't think of one at the time. I was going to do a Big Ben joke for some reason, but no. Do you know what? I've run out of words. I don't know what to say, Jad. What should I say?
Thank you for watching. From Jared, goodbye. From Paul, goodbye. And from Morphs, goodbye.
Actually, no. Before we do that, there's one other thing that you just jogged my memory. There's a lovely lady out there. Was it Tina? Somebody said they wanted to see our collection. I think it may have been Kaz, actually. She said Kaz. Kaz said, would you introduce all your snakes to us? Now, I'm not going to do that now.
No.
Actually, I think
take
it's...
a whole
yeah, 120 snakes might take me at least, or me, probably about 5 days of footage. So no, what we'll do is we'll introduce a snake or two a day. So you've already met Calypso. I'll show you one more. I'll show you one more snake. We've got to end the series, today's viewing, on a snake, Jad. You choose a snake, Jad, one of your favourites.
Cool. So many to choose from. Yeah, let's go for... We've seen a clown today.
Go for something different, Jad. Something unusual that maybe no one's seen yet. Anything that's... Right. He is like... Oh, he's doing well, Jad. Now this is Doodle the Noodle. That was named by one of our viewers. And how's he doing, Jad?
So we can see him.
Yeah.
He's doing really well. He's gaining weight fast. This is a pastel cinnamon, 100% het clam.
He's a boy, isn't he?
Yeah.
I love him.
His markings are beautiful.
Yeah, should I put him in the light? You can see him better. We haven't used the light box recently. I think people like the light box. Should we put him in the light box, Jack? Come on, let's do him properly.
1 minute.
1 minute. 1 minute in the light box, then we'll say goodbye. Right. Oh, there we go, big fella. There you go, Jack. You can do a little bit of footage in there if you want. Zoom in on him. Do your commentary. What do you think, Jack?
Yeah, he's a beautiful snake.
Yeah, we love him a lot. And we're going to keep him. I was going to sell him, but I've decided we should keep him, Jack, because I need another good male with those genes. And he's such a beautiful example, isn't he? Beautiful. Right, we've only got 30 seconds, Jack, so we need to be swift here. So, come on, little fella. You are absolutely beautiful. How much do you reckon he weighs, Jack?
300.
300? Alright, let's see what he weighs. Wow,
Just under.
275. He was born at about 50. He's put on 5 times his body weight since he's been hatched. And you can, if you want to see him being hatched, we've recorded everything. So it's goodbye from me, goodbye from Jared, and we'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.